Hello.
Hi. Hi,
Welcome to the
everybody.
coaching mixer. Was the most awkward
I know. We're both
beginning.
like, wait, we didn't talk at all before we started.
We didn't talk about who was gonna introduce us, if we were gonna introduce ourselves. This is the coaching mixer, influenced by alcohol and conversations about coaching.
I haven't really started, but there it is.
Ooh, yours is pretty. You even have a sprig of
I
something.
was like, it can't be boring. I'm going to put some rosemary in it.
I love it. I
Today
love
we're
it.
drinking sake.
Yay!
Yay. What are you
Okay, what
drinking?
is okay. I'll do mine because I think it's a little less fancy. It's sake. I think it's a sake gimlet, I think.
Ooh,
But I might
yummy.
be I Googled it and then I lost the link that I used to buy the things, so we're just gonna go with it. It kind of had like a culturally insensitive name, so I was like, I'll just go with gimlet because that's
Gimlet.
what it's inspired by. I think it's lime juice. Oh, and a Canadian sake gimlet because
Ooh.
I borrowed from you and used maple syrup instead of simple syrup. That's why it's darker.
Yay.
So it's lime juice, maple syrup, and sake. It's like very simple,
Amazing. Sounds
but
good.
really tasty. Yeah.
Sounds so good.
Okay.
I'm looking around my screen like what this was made by Steve. This is a Steve
Hmm.
sake surprise.
Ooh, surprise. Okay.
He doesn't drink, so sometimes I'm like, is this okay? But it's
Is it? Did you take
it
a sip yet?
yeah, it's okay. It's good. It's sake, Cointreau, tonic water, and orange peel and a cherry. A maraschino
Ooh,
cherry at the bottom. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's good. Um, I have been walking around all day in my workout clothes, like I'm going to work out. And then I was like, I am absolutely not going to be doing that. But I gave the illusion to the world.
Isn't that right? I feel like there's a window of opportunity when I change into my workout clothes where
Yeah.
like if I don't go, I'm just like, oh, this is my day pajamas, and now I don't need to go anymore. But like the first maybe 30 minutes of changing into workout clothes, I feel more motivated to go.
Yeah. Um, Same. I think though I taught yoga for so many years that I kind of used to live in yoga clothes. So I'm like, it's fine that I'm in public in my
Yeah.
workout gear, and it's fine that I'm, not doing anything physical. It's fine.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I feel like my because we work from home, I'm like I really will be extremely comfortable. At least,
Yeah,
well, all clothes must be comfortable for me, but
true.
like especially my legs are never on camera, so I'm like I can literally wear anything.
Okay, and do you ever, I'm curious about this. Do you have a lot of cute pants though? Because what I realize is I stopped kind of wearing jeans. I stopped like buying pants that look nice but weren't as comfortable. And I don't have a lot of pants I feel like I could wear in public.
Same. Same. Yeah, no, I don't have very many pants at all that are cute. I'd like have a bunch of yoga pants
Yeah.
now and like jogging pants, and that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not just me. Work from home
It is
people,
not.
loungewear. I think also like during so many lockdowns here, I was like, I have jeans that I literally have not put on in 4 years. They probably don't fit me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I don't know. I know a lot of people were like athleisure wear during the pandemic. Um, but I didn't really get that into it until I started like actually going to the gym about a year ago.
Yeah.
And then I was wearing the same thing every single day and I was like, this is kind of gross. Oh wait, I can like buy new workout clothes. I'm
Mhm.
like an adult who can do that.
Mhm.
So that was a revelation to me.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay, we've both had an incredibly busy couple weeks. We haven't really checked in a while. I didn't put an episode out last week, so sorry everybody, but that was life. You had a
Yeah.
show. How was that? How did it go?
Good. It went really well. So I'm in a play. You might have heard of the author. His name is Shakespeare. Ha ha ha. Um, so lame.
Such a good actor
Um,
joke.
Terrible. I have only had 2 sips of this cocktail, by the way. This is just me. I don't understand. Yeah, I'm in a show called Also the Incel. It's like one of his weirder problem plays. It's like funny, but also like kind of confusing and a little like messed up. So that's cool. It's kind of fun to be like creatives. Even Shakespeare had some clunkers and they're still being produced hundreds of years later. So like get your shit out in the world, all right?
Oh my God, what a good mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, but it opened last weekend. It runs for 2 weeks. So I just have tomorrow and then Saturday, and then we'll be closing.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Yeah, I don't think people realize if you've never done a show, like how much work goes into getting it to the stage. And like, even if you have a long running show, it never feels like it's actually long enough compared to the amount of effort that you put in. Like, I mean, I guess you could get sick of your show if you're on Broadway for a year. Maybe you get sick of it, but
Yeah.
so much work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. And it's like a lot of people who are like busy, just spending a lot of time making something happen.
Yeah.
I love it though. It's fun.
Yay. Okay.
Yay. Yeah.
We got a nice embarrassing, potentially exposing question.
Uh-oh.
We got a question where someone wanted to know about some of our own coaching mistakes.
hmm
And
And
I
how
mean,
we feel about them now
yeah,
as well.
that's yes, that's a good add-on. And I want to like even expand it about like business mistakes because I think, you know, there's the mechanics of like when you make a mistake in your work that you prize and you value, but then there's like the behind the scenes stuff that a lot of people don't think about and like how you actually deal with something unfortunate happening because you made a mistake in your business.
Mm.
um and like what the impact of that can be.
Yeah. So what comes to mind for like, did you have something in mind when that came up for you? It seemed like you might have.
Yeah, I had one that I like hope is also helpful, not just like not just super embarrassing for me, but
I think that's helpful.
well, it might be entertaining. But like I had one moment where I was like very mortified. I was running a mastermind for some clients, and the very first person who signed up for the mastermind, I had given them the dates. This is so tricky. I know other service providers can understand this, but like you throw out a date and a time and you hope it works for people. And then you find out like it's like it doesn't work for 5 out of the 6 people who signed up, which was kind of the
Hmm.
position I was in. And it was a total learning experience for me because I was like, ooh, I should maybe figure out a different way to do that. Should I have more than one group? Should I offer different times? Should I not settle on the time before the registration has closed? Like, there are other ways to work around this. My business is not like a mass coaching business. I usually work with like a few select people at a time. So, you know, it's not like I have 100 people on a wait list lining up to work with me and
So
ready.
there should be.
Although there should be, but you know, that's not the kind of business that I want, and that's not the kind of business I've developed because as much as I like groups and I like classes, I think for my ideal client is like a busy person. They're a leader or they're a business owner, and they actually don't love sitting in a group hearing other people's problems and like waiting their turn. They're like, they want their
hmm
45 minutes or 50 minutes with me to be like all about them.
hmm
So maybe the group was a bad idea just even to begin with, but I basically had to go back to the very first person who signed up, who I promised this time was going to work because they are busy, and say, we have to change the day and time. Like
Oh,
a week
yeah.
before it started.
Been there. And also, yeah, it feels terrible.
feels terrible. And it's like not the kind of experience I wanted someone to have because I had never worked with this person. They were like trusting me with a pretty big pivot in their business. And I was just like, this sucks. Like, what if I don't know if you can do it. If you can't do it, obviously I'll refund you. But as an apology, I would love to actually meet with you and do a free VIP session for you. And I'm not shy about what I charge. I charge like $15,000 for 20 sessions. So it's like a good, it's a
Yeah.
nice little extra to give someone a complimentary session.
Hmm.
And I just framed it as this will help me like really get to know your business. And then if there are weeks where you can't be on the call, you'll at least know that you're not losing out because I am going to be thinking about you. I'm going to be thinking about your business. I'll be recording things. I will mention your name in the record. Like it was a small mastermind. So I was like, I will be
Hmm.
working on your problems with you, even if you're not on the call.
Yeah. How long was the mastermind?
I think it was like 4 months.
Okay.
But it was like, so yeah, like this person had gone to the trouble of booking off the time,
Hmm.
rearranging their lunch hour, like really had to make something happen. And I had this session with the person, and this is kind of the fun part of this. At the end of that free session, she was like, can I also work with you as a private client?
Ah.
So then she did the mastermind. And at the same time, I was working with her privately.
Uh-huh.
She got so much more attention. But I feel like that's one of those things. Maybe it doesn't always happen that way, but I love sharing that story because it's a way that like if you like I fucked up. It was my fault.
Hmm.
It was really bad. It was not professional. It's not the way I want to do business. So it made sense to me to like go up above and beyond just to try to make her feel okay. And I was not at all pitching her or expecting her to want to become a private client, but she did. And I worked with her for like 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think we've talked about this before, but like repairing a relationship and the way that you do that as a coach, in the session with somebody, if you say something that's like, ooh, that was maybe not the right direction, or that wasn't maybe helpful, or that sent them into some kind of a spiral, there's a way of like following your own ick about that to like
Mm.
make a better relationship with someone.
Hmm.
So she wasn't too
Yeah.
mad.
I love that. How do you feel about like how did you navigate your relationship with yourself through this? Because I know at least myself and I know a lot of other coaches, we like expect perfection of ourselves and when we make mistakes, it's very easy to self-flagellate. So like how did you navigate that? Did you have impulses to do that? Were you like pretty gracious with yourself? What did that look like?
I mean, at that time, probably not. I probably was not very gracious with myself, but that experience actually turned into a concept that I teach as like the $10,000 learning or the $100,000
Mm.
learning, where if you make a mistake, there is a direction you can go where you beat yourself up, you make yourself wrong, you say, I should never be a business owner. I'm a terrible this or I'm a terrible that. Or there's like $10,000 worth of gold to learn from that, to either make sure it doesn't happen again, to repair a relationship, to, if it's a recurring thing that happens in your business, to like fix the system or change the way you do things. Like in hindsight, one of the things I figured out from that situation years later was my business is never probably going to be one where I do like 10 groups a year
Hmm.
because it is not what I've built the business for. And it only like kind of works if there's a reason, which is very different from a lot of the marketing training that coaches get, which is like sell out your one-on-one and then move to groups and then move to masterminds and then do a training. Like there's kind of this formulaic way that many of us are taught that doesn't always take into mind what our clients actually want and what they need.
Right. And what we
And what we
prefer
like.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't beat myself up about that at all now because I'm just like, look at that little gift that was there for me. I made this mistake. And instead of sticking my head in a hole, I
Mm.
like told the client, I was like, it's absolutely unacceptable that this happened. I'm very deeply sorry. And I realized like that's how I like to be handled. When someone doesn't, I'm
Yeah.
like, I really appreciate when someone just says, this wasn't okay. This is not what we want your experience to be. Let us try and make this better. I'm like so much
Mm.
more generous with someone who does that rather than somebody who's like, oh, well, here's a 10% off coupon, and oh, we'll give you your money back.
Yeah.
Like show me your customer service magic.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I actually have a similar story, and I don't want to reinforce the narrative that like you're always rewarded
Right.
for doing this because I think there's value in experiences where you
Only
just
we
kind
are
of
rewarded. Nobody else.
yes, no one else. I mean, I have plenty of experiences where I've messed up and like the client has just like not been thrilled with that, and that's okay. That's like totally okay. But this is actually within the last year, I think, where I was in a session. This is like kind of both a coaching thing and a business thing. Where I was in a session with a client and the session started, I think, at like the 45-minute mark. And I usually start my sessions at the top of the hour. So like I wasn't used to seeing that. And my sessions are 45 minutes. So there's like a little bit of just like mental math that I do so that I make sure to wrap up the sessions on time. And we were like going along, and about 5 minutes before I thought the session ended, I started bringing like wrap things up energy, and the client was like very much still in like open exploration. Let me like tell you all of the things. And then at the time when I thought the session ended, I was like, okay, then. So like that's something that we'll pick up next week. In the meantime, like here are some things maybe like to explore. And she was like, oh, I still have 15 more minutes. And I like had this like pang of like, oh no, oh shit. And it also felt like very disorienting. Because I was like, wait, what is time? What's
Yeah.
going on here? And I looked and I realized I had ended the session 15 minutes
Yeah.
early at the half hour point rather than the 45-minute point. And it was extremely disorienting. I mean, I did the best I could. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. In the moment, I apologized. And then, of course, we continued the session until it actually ended. But it didn't sit well with me because I'd spent like at least 5 to 10 minutes of like that would have been solid,
Mm,
deep coaching time, kind of coaching with the energy of like,
yeah.
let's move this toward wrap up. And so after thinking about it, I messaged her and I was like, I'm so sorry. I explained why it happened because like this is an
Yeah.
unusual time for me, not as like a justification, but just explaining and reinforcing it wasn't because I was like eager to end the session or I wasn't engaged in the session. Um, and I offered her an additional session free of charge just because I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I feel like the energy that I brought wasn't the energy that I like to bring to my sessions.
Mm,
And I don't like how it like was kind of disorienting. And so like it would make me feel good to just offer this to you. And she gladly accepted. And then she actually like we were coming up to the end of her package and she was like deciding whether or not to
mm,
continue. And she did decide to renew and mentioned that that was actually like one of the main reasons that she renewed, that like she was thinking of trying a different coach because she likes to like play the field a little bit, but
sure.
like but that because seeing how I handled that from a business perspective she admired that, and so that was like kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah. I love that. I think it really speaks to this is like I don't know, this could be very outlandish to even say the sake surprise.
I like how we both took a
No, we're
sip
like,
at that.
I don't think it's always, I don't think it's always about being rewarded, but I do think it sort of speaks to when you are very aligned with your vision and your values, and you're like actually trying to always work from that at every level. I think it means you can kind of give yourself that self-reflective feedback in the moment, make it right with the person, and then but in a way that's like not about you, it's about them. It's about like their experience
Hmm.
and about what they need. I had an experience once with a coach who was kind of weird. It was like we were doing I was doing a book project, and this coach was like, I don't know if I should charge you for the reading of your work time. She said, no, I'm going to value myself, and I am going to charge you for the time that I spend reading your work. And I was like,
That's a weird thing to
fair,
say out loud.
fine. Weird thing to say out loud, because I was just like, okay, so she's like, this, I think this does happen sometimes with coaches. It was like she was using her relationship with me as her client to work on her own mindset around money and scarcity. Because I was
Mm.
just like, oh, well,
Hmm.
like, of course, if you're reading the work before you get on the call, like, how much does that cost? Like, I had never really worked with a book coach in that way. And she clearly had never really had any clients who were like there for that service. But I was just like, ooh, yeah, there's a way in which, of course, every interaction can like help us as coaches, but ultimately the business facing stuff should always be towards supporting the client.
Yes, a
And
100%.
I mean, like that your example, I think, is a really good example of that, because it didn't feel good for you, it didn't feel aligned for you, and you weren't like, I have to do this so I feel okay and can sleep at night. It's just
Mm.
like, you're my client and I value you, and that weird misstep, totally honest mistake. Sometimes the math isn't mathin'. But like, what a nice gesture to show, like, I'm not just going to say I care about you and say whoopsie doodle. I'm going to say I really do care, and I'd like to extend even more time so that I can be fully present with you.
Yes. Yeah, and I think like clients can smell the difference between like I was very conscientious about not wanting to come from like the energy of like groveling or like needing an apology, which might sound a little ridiculous for an honest mistake now, but like when I did it, I felt very bad and I felt very embarrassed and like all my stuff kind of came up as it is wont to do whenever we make mistakes. So I was like, I was very conscious about like wanting to work through that energy so it could come from like a more clean space, which I think you identified as like being able to center the client. Like it's not about me. She could be mad at me and that would be amazing. And I would feel great if she could actually even like express that
Yeah,
in like to me, because that means we created safety for that
true.
to exist.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I definitely wanted to come at it from that space. And I do think like people can tell the difference. Like it's very clear when it's a person's like trying to bend over backwards because like they're trying to escape feeling bad
Yeah.
versus, oh yeah, like they actually like value me and like want to operate with integrity, whatever that means to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
I think also is what you did, like you coming out and like owning it and being like, here's something that I'd like to, and I'm sure it didn't feel great, but like you
it
were
felt
like, yeah,
good to
this is the
offer the
thing.
session, but it
Right,
felt
right.
really bad to email them and say, because I mean, I actually think that maybe coaches more than other service providers, just because we're so steeped in like the mindset work, and we're in touch with our emotions and we're in touch with our clients' emotions. But I was like, I don't like sending someone an email where I'm saying no to them or I'm going back on something. And like that just doesn't align with me
Mm.
because I hate it. I hate it when that happens to me as a customer. Um, and I'm always thinking about like, what can I do to like help this person still get what they want? Because the worst thing that could have happened in that situation was the timing, new timing didn't work for her. And she needed a refund because that wasn't going to work. And then I wouldn't have been able to help her with her business.
Right. Hmm.
So if that had happened, that would have been like, that would have made me sad because I really
Yeah.
loved her business idea. I wanted to help her create it. Um, but that's yeah, it's about like making it as easy for the other person to feel like they can still trust you when you've done something, even if it's an innocent mistake. Um, that could be like a feel like a betrayal to someone because we
Hmm.
just don't know what everybody's story is and we can't control that. But if I can move some things around to ease some of that, I will.
Yeah, totally. What this is making me think of is one of my big pet peeves about some of how people in the industry operate, which is the
Oh,
like
please
never,
tell.
I know, I'm halfway through my drink now. We're getting real. This maybe is veering a little bit off topic, but like there's this practice or like phrasing in the coaching industry that's like you don't apologize, you deliver the changes and say you're welcome, and you deliver them as like as though they're a gift. And I want to like that's so different than how what you're talking about, even if you're talking like even as you're like obviously I don't want an outcome where the person just goes away. Obviously nobody wants that, but you like I think the key ingredient in this is that you like took ownership
Hmm.
of it and we're sensitive to the fact that like your client is intelligent. Obviously they know you changing the time is not ideal for them, so like you're conscientious about that and also like not, I don't know, you're still like offering solutions but from a place of like yeah I get this, so sorry, taking
Yeah.
ownership of it, but like here are some solutions, what do you think?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to say this and I'm like, I realize it sounds like I don't mean this in a way that's like meek and small, but I'm just like, I never want to lose the opportunity to help somebody. Because I
Hmm.
actually, like, I confidently feel like I'm good at what I do. I can help people if they are ready to do their part of their work. Um, they will find a nice, warm support system, and I'll give them lots of ideas. You know, if they're stuck, I'm also like doing content work with people and giving strategies. Like it's not just mind, it's not just mindset. Mindset coaching is amazing, but it's not the only thing I will do.
Hmm.
And I would feel terrible if something logistic gets in the way of that opportunity. Or
Right.
like I do, or something logistic breaks the trust with someone or doesn't create safety with someone in a way I could actually fix because it's my business. I can probably fix it.
Right. Yeah. I think the key here is like when I'm thinking of, I think the logistic is the key part here. Like there might be situations where a client really would be better served by another coach, and I acknowledge that. And there might be instances where, like, for whatever reason, I'm unable to show up in the way that I think would most help the client. To me, that's like a good
Yeah.
parting of ways, even if it doesn't feel good. It's like in service of the client ultimately. But like, it's such a waste to have a logistical snafu be the reason
Yeah.
to not be able to help someone. Like, that's no, that's unnecessary. Mostly. I mean, not always, but if it can be rectified, like,
Yeah.
find a way. Let's find a way.
I'm kind of the mind that like you can have a logistical snafu once, but if
Mm.
you don't, as a business owner, take care of that and make sure it's not like a recurring issue in your business, like that's a different can of worms.
Mm. Yeah. I think also different clients might have different like levels of tolerance. And yeah, So like for some people that would be fine. For some people they like actually like to have some flexibility and stuff. So totally.